It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Søgaards Bryghus in Denmark, and it's a bottle of their Black Swan Imperial Stout coming in at 12.1% ABV. There's the label. It's a handwritten label. I'll give you all the reasons why in a moment. It's a black bottle cap, but always, as always, let's first of all get the beer out into a glass and see what we get. Nice bit of smoke on the opening. So this beer has come straight from the fermenting vessel. It's a lovely, look at that! Fantastic looking Russian Imperial Stout. A lovely one finger Tankard head. The slow moving carbonation making its way up the glass just showed to me that it has a fantastic body to the beer. Why am I so excited? Well, I've got a friend in Denmark. His name is Peter, the Master of Hoppits. He runs a fellow YouTube channel called The Master of Hoppits. You probably know him. And he works in Søgaards Bryghus. And he was very kind enough to send me the Black Swan with the description of what's in there and the IBUs and the ABV and everything else. So you all know Peter. This is a beer straight from his brewery. Tom brewed the beer. Peter helped to brew the beer. Let's get the aroma. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. That is pretty awesome. Smells fantastic. Nutty, biscuity, vanilla, caramel, roasted malt, chocolate, coffee, caramel. Oh yeah, it's wonderful. You get the oats as well. You can smell the oats in the aroma. But really kind of a nutty, you get a nutty flavour as well in there, in the aroma. Let's dive in. Cheers everybody. Cheers Tom. Cheers Peter. Cheers Søgaards Bryghus in Denmark. Boom! Stone the Crows! Stone the Crows! What a fabulous beer! Oh, it's so enriching. It just fills your palate full of goodness. 12.1% ABV goodness. It's got a really good bitterness on the back end, and that is from a factor of two things. The roasted malt is giving me a little bit of bitterness, and the hops in the beer is giving me quite a lot of bitterness, to be honest. It's vinous, it's fruity. Pardon me, it's wonderful. There's some vanilla flavours, there's even some woody flavours in there. So, I don't know if it's more, it's a bit of both. And it all comes from the roasted malt. You get some coffee from the roasted malt, some bitter coffee, some bitter dark chocolate, and a little bit of sweet caramel. But the mouthfeel is incredible, and the warming sensation as the beer slides down your throat into the pit of your stomach, the slight alcohol warming as it slides down is just remarkable, absolutely remarkable. For me, there is nothing more exciting than reviewing a fantastic Russian Imperial Stout, and I do have one here in my hand. Let's have another taste and let's talk a little bit about the description of what they kind of sent me here. Big, dense, creamy, rich, mouthfeel. Quite lactosey. There's oats in the beer, and what happens when you add the oats to the beer is it just kind of builds that mouthfeel. If you add a lot of oats to the beer, it gives it a, you know, that, you know, when you cook oats on the hob and you kind of make them for your breakfast, when you kind of pour that hot liquid away that you don't want anymore, it's quite a gloopy and whitish liquid, isn't it? But it's very thick, and that's what's kind of gone into making this Imperial Stout lovely and thick and rich and dense, and the mouthfeel that it just, the liquid just leaves, it just stays on your palate a little bit longer. It doesn't slip down like a thin beer. And what happens then when a medium mouthfeel beer sticks on your palate with lots of flavour and doesn't go anywhere, that's when it gives you that big kind of stone the crow sensation, because you're just being pelted by different flavours from left to right to centre. It just keeps hitting you from every angle on your palate. It's a truly, truly wonderful, wonderful Imperial Russian Stout, or Imperial Stout. We won't call it Imperial Russian Stout because they haven't. Okay, so description. Maris Otter malt, Munich 2, Milano, Carafa, brown and biscuit malt. The hops are Northdown, Pearl, EKG and Hull Melon. And flaked oats, which helps with that mouthfeel. The yeast is American ale yeast. The ABV is 12.1% ABV, which we mentioned. It's 45 IBUs, which we mentioned. That's the bitterness on the back end. The EBC is 160, so jet black beer in the glass. Plateau, I don't really understand Plateau. I'm not a head brewer. Availability limited to one batch of 1,000 litres. Wow, so this is really, really kind of rare stuff then. And if you want to pair some food with it, they recommend some cheese. Okay, so they've used caramelized sweetness from the use of dark muscovado sugar. I'm going to rate this. I'm just pressing my lips. I'm just sticking, as I'm kind of closing my lips together. It kind of just, it's you can feel them being stuck together by the enormity of them, the kind of dense mouthfeel on this liquid. Have a look as I rock the beer back and forth. You can see that slow moving carbonation chasing the beer up the glass. Now, an old brewer once told me, the smaller the bubble, the better the beer. And there's no smaller bubble than that. Let's rate it. Black Swan Imperial Stout by Søgaards Bryghus, 12.1% ABV. Sent to me by my good friend Peter, the master of hoppets. And I want to mention, I'm not raving about this beer just because my mate sent it over. I'm raving about this beer because the beer is fantastic. It's a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 from Reload Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! And cheers.